What's going on, everybody? It's Bowser Jr., and I am joined by the lovely Mr. Daniel SAZ. Daniel, say hello, please.
Hello.
And today is the intro is a sentence I never thought I would actually say, but for one of my classes in college, we are able to get credit if we start a podcast. He never actually specified what the podcast itself is for or what it has to be about. He just said, "Hey, do a podcast, post it, and see what happens." We actually have a podcast channel itself, Kindred Spirits, or is it Kindred Souls?
Kindred Souls.
Kindred. That's what I thought. Damn it. But
It
yeah,
has been a while. It has been a while.
exactly. So we actually have our like official podcast, Kindred Souls, but it's been a hot minute. We're gonna be doing some changes to that before we next actually hop back on. So I figured the best way to do this would just be to do a small one on my channel and just get the credit for it. So besides that, we don't really have much to talk. We don't have like any plans here outside of just talking about whatever's been going on, things that we find interesting as of lately, like movies, TV shows, video games, life, work. Maybe we'll probably stick away from political shit, but besides that, pretty much everything's game for this podcast. And since we actually have our friend Cohen in the chat, as well as anybody else that decides to join. Just be talking to anybody else who happens to join. Besides that, though, Daniel, do you have anything you wanted to discuss?
Well, if we're talking about politics, I have something to say. I watched the Sonic the Hedgehog movie last night, and it was a very fucking good movie. This is the second one. I enjoyed the whole thing through. I don't think I can imagine Knuckles without that voice now. I just like that Knuckles too much.
That is
Something about the
yes.
Knuckles is too endearing. I enjoyed the whole movie. Tails, it's hard to mess up Tails, but the whole movie is such a good vibe. I loved it, and like I'm really excited for the third movie. I was pogging out while I was listening to it
That
or
is
watching it.
that is such a brave political statement that I 100% agree with, dude. When I watched that film, I was just smiling from ear to ear the entire time. There are, I think you'll agree, there are definitely some some jokes that didn't really land, and then also the dance sequence went on just a tad too long. But besides that, I fucking loved it. And I agree with you, dude. Idris Elba, his Knuckles voice is now like probably my favorite Knuckles voice that we've ever gotten in any form of media.
Also, like Agent Stone should just be he should just be like a Sonic character. He should just be in the games. Something about Agent Stone is just such a he's such a funny character, and his chemistry with like Jim Carrey's like Dr. Robotnik is so good that like they could just put it in the games, and I don't think anyone would be against it. I've seen people even call for it just to add him into it because it'd be funny to actually have another human, but it just you never think Jim Carrey would be a good Eggman, and I don't think he's like the perfect Eggman, like villainous wise, but for being a kooky like fun villain, he does it perfectly.
Oh, 100%.
I I do miss his belly though.
I do too. I feel like if Jim Carrey doesn't fully retire, at least until the next Sonic movie, because I think you probably might have heard Jim Carrey says he's gonna step away from acting. He's good to retire.
Yeah, I did hear about that,
So I'm hoping
but
that
like
he'd at least come back for Sonic 3 so that we can get first movie, he ended with the mustache. This movie he ended with like the perfect suit. Next movie, I feel like they were going for the fat suit, and I'm really hoping they do. Also, I'll just say it now. This is going to be a spoiler stream. Everything we talk about will have spoilers in it. So, just a fair warning for everybody else so that we can properly discuss everything here for the fun of it. So, we'll give like a 10-second brief period for anybody to leave in case they don't want things spoiled.
yeah, get out of here.
Get the fuck out of here. Okay,
I know
now
we're a big boy podcast.
I know this is what happens when you're in college. And now that
Don't show this to your kids.
mm-mm. And now that anybody who doesn't want spoilers has left, assuming that Jim Carrey's Eggman didn't actually die at the end of this movie, which he most likely didn't. They didn't show the dead body. He's not dead. And even then, if they show a dead body, they're not always dead, especially in Sonic. So,
He's probably in jail. They're probably he's probably gonna be in jail in the next movie or something.
well, they said they couldn't find the body at the end of the movie. So that means he just somehow got away, which, fair enough. But I agree. Stone should just be in the games. He's just a ton of fun. But it should be the actual, like, this actor that played him, honest. I can't really
Yeah.
see anybody else playing him.
There's
Especially,
a classic rule in Hollywood. If the death isn't on screen, then it probably didn't happen.
and even if the death is on screen, it can probably be undone.
Yeah, especially in Sonic.
Oh yeah, man. But I was freaking out at the after credit scene when they revealed Shadow. I fucking loved it so much, dude. He is by far my favorite character in the franchise. So seeing him look that good in just the post credit scene, because you know that like Tails in the first movie, they're going to revamp him up, like do better with the CGI, do better with the model, like in the next movie. That's just how they always do it in these, and so that means he's gonna look even better in the third movie. I am pumped.
I can't wait till we give him a 3 o'clock shadow and make him like really depressed.
Hell yeah! If he doesn't have the convoluted backstory that he does in the original games, I will be sad. We need to see a child get
If he
murdered.
isn't depressed and an alcoholic, then is he really Tails from the Sonic series? I
You,
don't really think so.
Speaking I'm just glad they fucking did Knuckles justice. They kind of ruined him in the late in like some of the latest games by making him just a big idiot. And then here he's the badass that he rightfully deserves to be. And I was very happy about that.
I don't care what anyone says. The Sonic Boom Show version of Knuckles is really good. It is the most like like depth we've ever gotten for a Knuckles like ever. Because I feel like a lot of times like the games treat him like a joke, or he's just that like he's that filler slot of just the tough guy, and that's like all he does. He just exists for that one thing. And the show at least gives him a lot more characters. So I will die on the hill that the Sonic Boom show at least give him character. The games, yeah, the games like are nothing. The games are just dumb.
I do want to check out the show because I know that Knuckles' character was good to Sonic Adventures 2, like most of these characters, and then afterward they started treating him like just the normal dumb guy for laughs, which is sad. So it's good to see that he's getting back up there as of lately.
This show's good. It's mostly satirical and they have a lot of fun with it. You could tell they actively enjoy it, and a lot of people really like that show for that reason.
That's good. I do want to check it out. I just know to go into it just expecting like a Saturday morning cartoon and not like no seriousness, just go in for the fun of it, and it should be a good time.
You come from Sonic, but you stay for Eggman. Like Eggman is like probably the best character in that show.
Really,
Yeah, Eggman is so good in that show. Of course, it's a classic voice actor, but it's just a really funny show, like all around.
that's right. I'll have to check it out because I do want to. I just don't know where I can or if I can. Let's actually see where can I.
Like in any pirating website, I support pirating. I'm a pirate.
I try not to pirate it too much. Okay, so I can it's available on Hulu and HBO Max. And I do have subscriptions to one of those. I'm good. I try not to,
Like,
I'm just hoping that obviously a lot of people are pirating Sonic 2 right now. And I'm just really hoping that everyone who's pirating it is going to support it when it fully comes out because these movies are generally amazing and keep getting better and I want the studio deserves the support for it so that we can keep getting more and higher quality.
I mean, it already broke box office records. Like I pirated it, and I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna buy like figures and stuff to support. They made their money, you know. I think the general audience that they like do stuff for is already enough.
Oh yeah, I don't
A
mean
lot
like
of times,
you ain't gotta buy like all the statues and posters and all that. I just mean like buy a digital version of it for like 20 bucks. Just show that the support's still there. It wasn't just like a fluke. You know what I mean?
yeah. I think Sega can survive without my $3, but definitely people are gonna buy it, especially because like if they beat on it and like add stone to the games and stuff, it'll just make it better. I'm pretty sure the movies have been single like handily the most successful Sonic product in like the last like decade,
Oh,
which is the funny part.
that's 100% accurate. I don't know. Not even just that. The Sonic movies have both managed to dethrone and like beat both a DC and a Marvel property in like their respective release times.
That's what happens when you write Marvel movies stale and then like give good directors for an actual movie that have heart. Like you could tell the Sonic movie actually has heart and it's like trying to like tell a story. Trying to have fun with the, like what they've been given.
Oh yeah, I will stand by the hill that the first movie was a buddy cop film and it needed to be that so that the second one could just be a pure Sonic film. Because 100% top to bottom, Sonic 2, pure Sonic, no hands
Yeah.
down.
Like you could tell like Sonic is a bit of a he was made to be a marketable figure, but like that movie has a bit of heart. A lot of like stuff like the Marvel movies are just kind of made to be commercials. They're meant to be like toys. They're meant to be like shows and like the streaming services. They're kind of they want you to buy into the monopoly. But for the Sonic movies, it's just like oh they'll come out whenever supporter games.
Yeah, then again, the Marvel movie that it beat was Morbius, so obviously that itself isn't saying too much, but it's still nice to know that it's beaten both Marvel and DC, and hopefully the next thing
Hey,
it beats is Nintendo.
Hey, Morbius is the most of the movie ever. It is the greatest movie to ever touch mankind.
Dude,
Like
I
Jared Leto made $10 more billion off that film. It is the greatest one to ever come out. Don't
m-
you dare disrespect my fellow cult leader,
I'm not
Jared Leto.
I'm not even kidding when I say this. No movie. I've watched hundreds of films in the theaters, and no movie has ever made me like audibly react in pure disgust and like being pissed off. But did you watch Morbius?
No, but like,
Are you going to watch
do you
Morbius?
no?
Okay,
Like, do you
good.
think I really care about spoilers about Morbius?
I'm just checking to make sure because there's one scene. So they have hammed up. They like made very certain how strong and powerful like the vampires are in this movie. And so we literally watch David Tennant vampire. I don't fucking remember his name at all. But we watch his vampire like claw someone across like the across the stomach, pretty decently deep cut. And then he punches him so fast that he literally creates a sonic boom and the dude flies across the room and like bangs into multiple objects. That is the strongest hit we've seen in this entire movie, also after having gotten their stomach cut open. And the dude managed to survive for like another few hours. Whereas we've seen people take lesser hits that died instantly. And I audibly in the theater went, "Oh, you're fucking kidding me." Like in
I love
pure
it.
annoyance.
I kind of love the idea though of them making vampires like stupidly strong. Like whenever I think about that, I think about Guilty Gear, like that fighting game series where like they have a character that he's just like this pompous dude that just like every animation he does is just him just being kooky and weird. But then he hits you like a bullet train, like in the world canonically. He's just like a really like strong immortal being, but he just acts kooky to be kooky. And I think just like having a vampire be stupid strong is at least way more funny than like like oh I'm gonna turn into a bat and fly away.
Oh no, I
It's
love yeah, I love it. That the idea of that itself is not a bad thing. That's just how vampires are in the MCU in general. And that's I love that. It's great. It was the fact that we saw someone survive a punch far stronger than a punch anybody else has survived in the movie is what made me audibly go, "Oh, you're fucking kidding me." Because we
can't
saw
wait for
people like wearing heavy armor die to a punch, yet this fucking old dude survives this like just tanks this blow, and I'm like, "What?"
I can't wait till like the next like Venom movie comes out and like Venom's just gonna be standing there after winning his like battle against Carnage like 3 and like he's just like all panting like out of like like out of sweat, he's just all beaten up, and then like Morbius is gonna come out of nowhere and he's gonna be like, hey, it's Morbin time, and then
It's
he's just gonna kill
Morbin.
Venom. And like it's gonna be the greatest villain comeback we've ever seen. It's gonna make 10 trillion more billion dollars. It will rise in the stock market,
The thing is,
and
though, both of
no
those
one's ready
villains
for
aren't
that.
both of those villains aren't
Morbius sweep,
villains in their
baby.
movies. The like they're meant to
Morbius
be villains.
sweep.
Morbius sweep, yes, but both of these villains that are villains in the comics aren't villains in the movies. They're anti-heroes, which is so weird.
Yeah, but like, isn't Morbius a comic book villain? That's just the funny part.
You know,
Like, also,
he's a total 100% villain, and in the movie they completely changed that entire like Morbius has never been a good person as far as I'm aware. So them making him a anti-hero is weird. Also, the
I,
entire movie, you haven't seen it yet, so I got to tell you, the entire movie, he talks about how he's going to kill himself after like the whole thing is done because he doesn't want to risk hurting other people because sometimes he can't control the thirst for blood. After everything is done, he has another thing that he can use to kill himself. For no reason at all, he just decides, nah, and then just flies away. And, like, never touches on it, never explains why he changes his mind, why he's now okay putting people at risk. He just goes, fuck it, I'm okay, and then just leaves.
I'll be honest. Most directors are cowards nowadays. They got to be like, oh, the villain's got to have some empathy. He's got to become the good guy at some point. When are they gonna make the movies like ton of movies where just the villains are just the main characters? Is do piece of shit things and then they get away with it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Like we need more of those. Also, I mean, did you see that after Morbius flopped, they announced El Muerte as like a
Yeah. The character that's appeared in literally two comics. Let's make a movie off of him.
they pulled the dead man switch on that. They were like they had the big red button in their office ready for like they're like oh crap, it's making no sales. Pull out El Muerte.
We need someone to save the Sonyverse. Bring out El Muerde. And have him be played by Bad Bunny, damn it.
By Bad Bunny.
That's who it is, isn't it? Who fucking
It probably is. I have no clue. I just heard that like El Muerte is coming, and that was just the funniest thing to me.
El Muerte. Yeah, it's Bad Bunny.
It's so ridiculous.
What I love is that he's gone on saying he loves this character, and I'm like, dude, you loved a character that appeared in only 2 comics so much that you went to the studio and asked for them to make a movie. That's just fascinating to me, man. What are they
Listen,
gonna make next?
Morbius got a 600% on Rotten Tomatoes on both categories, so El Muerte is probably gonna do amazing.
Dude, that's gonna be like the biggest movie of all time. Nothing can beat.
You
You thought Morbius sweep was insane? Try Muerto
you
Madness.
you, you might have watched Multiverse of Madness and been on some copium, but I'm on some Morbium, and I am living great right now.
Have you seen Multiverse of Madness yet?
No, but I've seen most of the spoilers.
I loved it, honestly. I thought it was a ton of fucking fun.
John Krasinski does not look like a convincing what Reed Richards or whatever. I don't care. He just does not. I can't see it. I cannot see it.
So in the movie itself, he does 100% look the part. However, the
I
way
didn't
they
think he looks the part. It just looks like John Krasinski. Like they just put him in the costume, and like it's like you can just shove that like you could just say, oh, he's the like the flame guy, or he's the thing. You could just say anything. If you look at him, you'd be like, oh yeah, well he's a brunette like this guy, I guess. But it's just John Krasinski. There's nothing. He has the beard too, which like Richards is usually shaven, but I mean there's times where he's had a beard, so fair. But like he just stands there and talks, and it's just like I just can't see it.
That's
I
what I was
can't.
saying. The
It's
way
just I
they
laughed when I
wrote
saw that.
everybody in the Illuminati, they're not like the actual full-on fleshed out characters. They're just like very quick caricatures of of them. So no one really got to, I guess, properly portray them, if that makes sense. Even Monica Rambeau, the girl from Captain Marvel who is now Captain Marvel in this one, people I saw like there are a lot of people in the black community that describe it as she went from like an actual character to now just seems like she's nothing but like the black friend of the group, and I'm like, yeah, that's accurate. She went from like a full-on character to just the black friend. So it's like
Disney
I
writing
can't
for you.
exactly, I can't blame, well, not even Disney. It's as much as I love Sam Raimi's directing, like generally this might be my favorite directed movie in the MCU. It seems like him and his writer who are working together are still very much stuck in like olden times writing, because there is so much camp things that kind of like didn't make too much sense, like just there because they thought it was silly or something like that, which I will fully admit that those parts aren't the best. There are quite a few lines of dialogue that just didn't work. So I blame it more on that than any of the actors and actresses that came on for these characters.
I just like I don't know. It's like I like Marvel movies. I like all of them or most of them,
Yeah.
but like I feel like the ones I would like would like have like a million guns get pointed at me if I said which ones I disliked. But like I I like most of them. I just feel like it's hard to be surprised by Marvel movies nowadays, and whenever you see it, it's like, oh, well then there's the thing, and it either looks like it or it doesn't, and it's just ridiculous. And like Doctor Strange already said, like when they're like talking about it, they're like, oh yeah, this movie's gonna have so many cameos, and it's gonna be like a crazy movie for the MCU. It's gonna show so much.
Which it
I
did
that
not. Thank goodness it did not.
I was gonna say that single handedly made me not want to watch the movie.
Yeah, that saying all of that was terrible. And then you watch the movie itself, and there's barely, I think, only only about 5 cameos, and they're very like small and not like too huge. So I was very happy about that. I was worried at first it'd just be cameo filled for no reason.
They were lying to us. There was like, oh, there's so many cameos. There's less cameos in that movie than even Civil War.
Yeah, it was very interesting to see why they all changed that, but it was for the better, honestly. I will say that this movie was probably one of the most surprising. Like the trailers themselves, they basically say like, yeah, Wanda's most likely eventually going to turn. I didn't expect her to be the main fucking villain the entire time. I thought that happened like 3 quarters in the movie, not from the beginning. I loved that so much.
I think that's a more interesting idea. I hate when they have to add a new villain each time. That's like, oh, it's from something. I think it's really cool having like someone you know and like just become a villain.
Yeah, no, she had like just the most insane negative character arc since she first appeared, and I thought that was fucking brilliant. Although I'm really tired of them only using her like original accent when she's being evil. I feel like it's so stupid that they're still doing, yeah, when she sounds Russian, she's evil. When she sounds American, that's when she's a good guy. It's like, no, just stop it. Just let her be Russian all the time, please.
Wish she would be like that. I know people would say like, well, like there's a lot of people like with accents that they'll like hide their accent most of the time, and like whenever they're like talking like while they're mad or emotional, they'll bring out their accent. Like I can get that, but I feel like they just don't have her be Russian all the time because they just don't think people would be able to understand her.
Her accent wasn't ever bad though. Like they were always very
It's
understandable.
not, but like I just feel like that was their excuse if there was any.
Probably. I still also do think there's still some slight racism there of, oh yeah, foreign accent is evil, American sounding is good guy. Like I still think
I mean,
there's some stuff there that's, kind of
there's
fucked up.
there's tons of stuff about that from going back to like the Cold War when like Tom Clancy pretty much popularized the idea of like not exactly Russian but pretty much Russian,
Yeah.
like bad guys being the bad thing in like every war movie or everything ever. And there's tons of essays and like people talking about this where like they just started this culture of like anti-Russian writer, like anti-Russian like media, but they weren't trying to say it was Russian, but they released a lot of this stuff during the Cold War so it can like boost American morale and stuff, and it's just kind of stuck around. And it's been a really sore spot in like even gaming, like Call of
Yeah.
Duty, just seeing like the Russian people be bad guys as many times and stuff. It just feels like weird. And now that we have like stuff happening in like that part of the world, and like stuff is still trying to like villainize Russian people. I just feel like it's not really the time for that.
Yeah, I
I feel
agree.
I feel like I feel I feel like we shouldn't be going back to our Cold War tendencies.
Yeah.
I'm trying to not sound as political as possible. Just a more simple answer of I don't want to have things be racist.
No, no, I agree because like I'm the one that ended up bringing this up, so it's not like it's your fault anyways. I started this, even though I started off saying let's not get too political. It's just this is the conversation went here, and I mean, it's true. Like that's why I am glad a lot of things lately are kind of going more towards focusing on like inner American problems. Like it's American groups that are doing like a lot of uh terrorism or just attacking in video games and movies nowadays, which I am happy about. It's good to once again kind of broaden it out. You can have other people from other countries be the bad guys, be the bad guys, but if you're solely making only foreign people the bad guys and never saying like, yeah, Americans can be fucked up too, that's where I think the issues are for these games and movies. It's like balance it out, let everyone be the villain and everyone be the good guys. It's all right, we can all handle that. Americans suck. We understand. We're not
That's
not
always
the
just
best.
that's always just kind of been like a media issue because like we a lot of our stuff nowadays is like readaptations of older works and a lot of stuff was made back in the day, so like they're gonna kind of be stained with that. So we're gonna probably have that stuff for a good while, but it's nice for it to calm down a bit. I'm just glad we're getting to the part now where we just start villainizing like CEOs and evil people that are like rich.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot better.
It's a lot more realistic. Of course, Jeff Bezos is gonna like next week put his face in the moon and blast us or something.
Oh yeah, most likely. I mean, we're not like we're two Mexicans in this call here. We're not gonna say like every Mexican's a good person, but we're also not. We're also far from every Mexican is the leader of a cartel or some shit like that. But all these millionaires did some fucked up shit to get to the top where they are right now. That's something that genuinely should be looked into, which is
Wait,
fun to see them all.
you're not a leader of a cartel? What the hell, man? I'm sticking out my neck here.
Dude, we're not supposed to admit that on stream. What are you doing?
Oh, shit, yeah, you're right.
You gotta play it down.
Yeah. Anyways, but like I think it's just like a lot of I think because we rehash a lot of old works, it's just kind of stuck with that. I'm glad we're getting past it more though. I just kind of I don't know. I feel like just villains in general have just been on a really soggy streak of being the same thing over and over again, and it's hard to really find anything interesting. I think the last Marvel villain I actually found interesting was Ultron, and like that was it. I
Really?
don't really I don't find Thanos any sort of interesting or even like anything to emphasize with. Thanos is, in my opinion, probably the dumb like one of the dumbest villains, if not top
Really?
down. I think the comic book version was better, but I think the movie version is really dumb, and it's just like it's just they just wanted to make a genocidal guy seem empathetic.
May I ask why you think he's dumb?
I'll
Because
say
Thanos
his
is
acting
genuinely
is
my
really
favorite.
good. The acting is really fucking good.
Yeah.
It's amazing. But I think the logic of wiping out half the universe is very dumb. It's a very easy to beat argument, even though the guy's supposed to be a genius. Uh, a lot of solutions that he could like a lot of problems he could have done, like they caused, he could have solved them in like many different ways. And they try to put him as like this, like, oh, he's a tragic character. He has to do all this stuff for the greater good when like he's always had the power to make it better, but he chooses the worst possible routes. And the comics have made a little more sense because he's like in love with death and stuff. So he was just trying to cause this for love.
Yeah, he's just a horny
I can
boy.
see it a bit, but this just kind of makes him seem like a genocidal idiot. Where like he has this like idea, and it's like, oh, no one can convince me otherwise. Even though there's like so many more viable options that you can do that would make way more sense. But I'm just gonna do the one that it just makes me the bad dude. I'm just gonna kill people and like blow up like planets and stuff just because like I'm just that much smarter than everyone. That's just what it makes Thanos seem like. Even when like he dies in the beginning of Endgame, like when like goes forward to the future, he's just like a guy just chilling out, and it's like he's acting like, oh yeah, like I done such a noble thing. I'm fine with dying. I don't care anymore. It's just they try to write him as like this tragic character in the movies, and I just don't see it. I don't. It's like, oh, it's so sad he killed his daughter, but then he's the guy that's actively fine with it. He's done way worse stuff in the entire universe, and he's actively responsible for genociding half of the universe. But it's like, oh yeah, he's like, it's so sad that he's heartbroken over his daughter. It's like, yeah, like you have a personal attachments and stuff, but you're also the idiot that didn't have to kill his daughter. If you're as smart as you say you would do the million different things that wouldn't be you having to kill your daughter.
I never
I
saw them
think
as trying. I never saw it as them trying to make him not the bad guy. Like they very clearly show him like
Well, they're trying to
doing
make him
tons of bad
empathetic.
things. Yeah,
They're trying to make it seem like that he has a that like they're trying to make it seem like his goal makes sense, or they're trying to make it seem like it's a goal that like okay, I can see why he's doing it, but it doesn't work in that sense because with the power he has, he could do the literal opposite of what he's doing. He can make infinite resources.
he
He can
actually
solve
can't
energy
make.
crisis.
He actually can't make. So the way the Infinity Stones work, they can't just create more things out of nothing. They always like kind of bring energy in from one way or another. So they cannot actually multiply resources by two, like I've seen some people recommend. It's like that the being able to do that itself wouldn't actually work. They can only like work with what's in the world right now, which is why the best he could do was wipe out half the planet. Which again, I do
That's
like.
like saying though. That's like saying though that like, oh, life is ungovernable and it's like there's no way to fix it when like he's literally got infinite time and he's got the power to do it. I feel like anyone with like even a team with enough of like a responsibility and knowing how to solve this kind of issue would probably be able to buckle down and like handle this. And I know it's like a big task and all, but it's not like oh, if we don't do this, the universe is gonna explode into like a pop dust in like a minute. If we don't do this, it's him trying to help people. It's him trying to like stop like starvation and stuff. And it's like, well, then why doesn't he just use this stuff to like change the world, change like how economics work on other planets, like change like how like resources are made on other planets. Just because he can't create stuff doesn't mean he can't move stuff. Doesn't mean he can't like use his power for like any sort of good. He has options to do stuff that would be retroactively better, but he just decides to destroy infrastructure, destroy civilizations for this goal, and he's pretty much setting more things back than he is helping.
Well,
Even
interestingly, if he did make things better, I'm pretty sure like the statistics are like the better environment people are in, the more likely they are to have children, like like reproduce more. So if the current problem is resources are running out, if you were to like make things better, then that would just make people want to have more kids, and thus resources would come out even faster. Like his plan is flawed because even if he wipes out half of the universe, eventually we'll get back there and then we're back in the same problem. But I think his thing was just trying to buy us more time rather than anything else. Because if you do improve things, then people are just gonna fuck more. They're gonna have bigger families. They're gonna like make more people, and then we're just like even more going down that track of like just running out of resources. Because no one's really going to be too worried about just making a family when half of the people have just disappeared or like their town just been demolished. Starting a new family at that point, starting another family isn't top of your list. But if things are fine and like you have a good job, the economy's stable, you're able to get food and power like on a daily basis without problem, then you're more likely to start having a family because things are good. So I feel like if he did do that, that just makes the problem worse in his eyes because then just, oh yeah, things are good, more people are being made, resources are going by even faster.
Yeah, but like, what does he expect? Does he expect that like the universe is just gonna be packed with people to a point that like there's gonna be like no room for anything left? That's not how it works. There's an infinite expanding space of like almost infinite possibilities of stuff. I think it's a narrow. As if he's thinking that, that's a narrow way of viewing it because you're essentially saying, well, I'm just gonna look at everything we got and not what we could have. Like even like the stuff that he did, like Earth, like 5 years in the future, they were like damn near dystopian. Like they yeah, how much it affects a society to lose 50% of its people. That's like I'm pretty sure 99% of societies wouldn't come back from that and like be exactly the way they were
I mean,
from like
did you
that kind of
watch
event.
any of the Disney Plus series? Any question?
I have I've seen clips from What If.
Because interestingly enough, his plan kind of worked. So of course, in Endgame, they talk about how the environment's getting better, the ozone's healing. There are like whales near, like straight up cities because the water's gotten that much cleaner. Then you have Falcon and the Winter Soldier. They like one of the many like the main plot point of that show is that during the blink, borders basically completely closed. Like the entire world was pretty much at peace for like ages because they were just trying to help each other get through this fucking entire world flip. So borders were down, like cross international relations were at an all-time high. So it's like him doing that did make things better to an extent. Yeah, half the people died, but his plan did still work to an extent. Like the world got better and got worse, which I think is why I love him as a villain personally. Because yeah, his ideologies and his arguments are flawed. There are problems in it, but at the same time, they stem from like a good idea, just not like the most in depth. Because in the end, his thing did work. It did help. It was just yeah, killing half population across the universe is just fucked up. Like there's no way around that. But it's still in good thought, and it did end up actually working out decently. Because like it's not
Here's
like his
my
ideology wasn't backed up.
here's my couple few logics of that. Is that one, just because you don't have to murder half of the universe to create world peace. That's something that could be done without that. He could have made a centralized like galaxy at that point and just made almost world peace on every world. By
Yeah,
connecting everyone, making everyone more like free and open to each other. He could have done that. He didn't have to wipe out half the planet just because like you know everyone's gonna come together in a fact like in the means of response, but give them like an extra like 10 years and they're just gonna be in a micro cold war again. You know, like
yeah,
that's it. They're just gonna get back to the same issue because the problem isn't that you know they needed more resources. The problem is that inherently, when you have these like systems in place that are meant to, create, homelessness, like how like they're like they're talking about like running out of resources. There's like starving people. If you create a system where it makes people homeless and it makes the top get topper, then you're just gonna keep that problem. It's just you're just delaying the inevitable, and buying time means nothing when it's just like an extra 10 years. Like I feel like that same thing could be accomplished, but maybe even better if he just uses his brain like in a different direction.
oh yeah.
He could have done like way more for that. I mean, look at like Star Wars, for example, that like, the Empire was very evil and like they had like, it was like almost police states, but like I think I remember seeing stuff about how they actually had like really good healthcare for most of the galaxy, that they were actually able to take care of themselves, a lot of them, and like more of the central planets and stuff. And it was good for them somewhat. And it's like it's that weird mix of like don't be fascists, but also like if you can centralize things correctly, then it can work. But he just chose to go the evil route when that's my problem with him is that he doesn't have to do that. It's not like that's the only option of getting his way. You don't have to do that. And like if he had to do that to like, save his daughter or something, then I'll be like, okay, I completely get it. But no, he's like, I'm gonna kill everyone I ever care about for something that I don't even have to do this way. That's
Yeah.
my main problem with it. Like it's like, well, it did kind of work, but also like, does that really even matter when he could have done the same thing, but with just the good guy version of it? That's my problem with T. Hanos. I just think, at least the way the movies wrote him, they wrote him as just kind of they just wanted to make him a bad guy to push that. Like they just want to make a bad guy to make a really crazy evil bad guy, and then make him this ultra genocidal guy for that reason. But they took from them taking away his whole love of his life thing and a lot of other stuff like that. I feel like it gets rid of a lot of reasons that he would have to do the evil things. That's my main issue with Thanos.
I get it. I think that's kind of what keeps him as a villain, though. It's just the fact that, yeah, he's fucked. Definitely, there are other ways he could have gone about it. I just think the fact that he could have done those things is why I still like him as a villain personally.
That's why I like that What If like episode where they literally spend almost the entire time making fun of him, because it's like he tells people the idea and it's just like, no, it's just you're dumb at Thanos. It's literally just genocide. Like there, there's 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 better ways of doing it. You're just on purpose wanting to do genocide.
Yeah. Not gonna lie, the latest villains have not been the most interesting in the MCU. I think
I can imagine it boring. I haven't seen a lot of the recent stuff, but I'd imagine to be boring.
I liked Moon Knight. This was fun. Uh, when it comes to Falcon Winter Soldier, the Insurgent group, fucking terrible villains, terrible characters. I hated them. But the main guy, Walker, Agent America, I forget what his name was. He was a fascinating character and villain to watch. I'm not gonna lie. I would kind of probably recommend Falcon Winter Soldier for him alone. But I didn't like the rest. I didn't really care too much about the rest of the show itself.
I feel like you can only write so many villains until eventually jumping the shark and going to Galactus. And I know we're probably gonna get there eventually,
Dude, I want them to get to Galactus. That would just be fun.
but I feel like I think they're afraid of going to Galactus because once they get to Galactus, they've done everything.
That's it. Yeah.
You can't do anything crazier. You're just gonna be doing minor movies that are in the universe that like can be their own entertaining thing, but Galactus literally is just the thing.
Yeah, that's literally just the giant man from space that can eat planets. You can't there's nowhere else to go. That has to be the end of the MCU. Genuinely has to be Galactus.
That's why
Unless
like I don't know. It just a lot of the heart from those movies I feel like has been taken out of it for me the last few times I try to watch them. Where the more I watch those movies, it feels like they're more just built to be commercials than trying to be like an artistic like movie. It's trying to like they're less trying to convey a message and more just trying to sell us like more things from their expanded universe. And that's what I've had a hard time just watching that stuff.
I'd recommend Moon Knight. That one definitely
I've
screams
heard it's
artistic.
good.
Oh yeah, it is definitely the best thing the MCU's produced in a long ass time. And even then, I think it's still top like quite a bit of things.
Spider-Man's good too.
Yeah, I love No Way Home. That one honestly managed to do both. It still managed to tell a genuinely good, heartfelt story, and also expand the universe, stuff like that.
Yeah, I think they did it in a tasteful way though. Like it was at least tasteful.
Oh, 100%. Genuinely, it was amazing, and everything served a purpose. Nothing was just there for show. It all actually played a part in the overall story, which I think is the main thing, like the main reason it did so well and is still loved by so many, me included, us included, honestly.
Yeah, that was a really good movie. I just Marvel is just like such a. They say like you're like beating a dead horse, but I feel like this horse is like a skeleton horse from Minecraft at this point. It's just milked. It's fully milked. I just don't. You can get so far, and it's just like, oh yeah, they brought a Scrumbus Wumpus from Iron Man 352 into the next movie. It's so crazy. I'm like, okay, that's cool. And then they bring Skippity Whippity into the next movie, and it's just like these are just all guys that I have no care about. I like if people like it, go off. They can love whatever they want, and like I respect them for that. But it's just not for me. I just don't. I've been like more out of it. It's just the same. It just feels like the same movie for me almost every time, except like the rare circumstances.
That's fair, honestly. I think I still love Marvel, even like some of the latest stuff. I still at least enjoy, even if I don't love it. But there is one thing that goes in every single movie that if they don't stop, eventually I think I am gonna get tired out, and that's the forced comedy in so many scenes. Like especially when a serious scene is rewrote and refilmed later on to just include a joke for no reason. That I think is the biggest weakness and like the worst thing about the Marvel movies. It's just the forced humor. Because sometimes there are some good jokes. Other times they just completely undermine a serious moment with a joke. That's why I love Moon Knight so much. It genuinely is one of the few things that does not feel like an MCU product in like the best way possible. You don't just get forced jokes. You don't just get like all these typical things, the bad aspects you'd get from an MCU movie. It just feels like a distinct thing that just so happens to be in this universe in like the best way possible. Because Shang-Chi, some like amazing moments in that movie, undercut by a joke for no reason, just pull you out of the scene.
I think you can fit comedy to it well. It's just like
Man, you can, but
I think their form of comedy just gone stale because it's been almost the same thing every time. It's like, oh, something like serious going on. Like these people are gonna go like we gotta go fight them. This is the plan. Like we're gonna go like blow up their backside, and then like someone's gonna be like, whoa, the backside, like butter or something, and then like it's gonna be like an awkward like 2 minute joke that they like say like well it sounds like they're trying to improv it even though they've covered that same joke like 10 times.
exactly.
It's the same type of comedy each time, and I think that's the problem is that they have like their Marvel branded humor, and it's nothing unique. But when it's unique, it's good. It's like really good, but it's very much dependent on the directors.
Yeah, unfortunately, because like it's just annoying when a serious moment just gets undercut by the joke. Like it's just for no reason at all, just a throwaway one-liner that did not have to be there. It served no purpose. It kind of ruins the tone overall. They just decide they need like a set amount of jokes per minute or something like that. I really can't decide what why.
For me, I've always felt like that the best comedy serious Marvel movie they've ever made is Thor Ragnarok, where it's
Yeah,
like still serious, but it is like their comedy is it hits almost every single time. And like the casting they did for it is really good too. Thor Ragnarok is just such a good movie. I think at the beginning people didn't really think it was gonna be, and they treated it like it was. But that movie just came out and what just released as good as it was, and they didn't care. They just like yeah, like just take this really good movie and then let's just release Morbius. like like
I
it's
won't
just
blame Disney for that. That's Sony. Sony is just fucking something.
yeah, but it's just like it's just such a major gap in the quality of Marvel movies. It's like we got we got like we got the quality of like Sam Raimi movies, and then we go to like Iron Man. That's like, and then we go to like Iron Man and Endgame to like Thor Ragnarok, and it's like holy shit, this is so fucking good. And then they release like I can't even like think of something. I mean, I would say like What If was kind of like a meh thing for me.
Yeah, no,
Most of it
agreed.
was meh.
The only
It's like
episode of What If that I will stand by and say it is amazing, regardless of the rest of the show, is episode 4, the Doctor Strange episode. That one, oof.
I did not like Party Thor.
Yeah, Party
I
Thor was
thought
eh.
Party Thor was the worst. I thought it was the worst one. I really just did not like Party Thor.
I'd probably
At the
say
same,
Captain Peggy was my least favorite, just because it was the least creative out of all of them.
it was just like eating like bran flakes. Like it's just like okay, it's just a thing.
Yeah,
I'm just here for it. I'm just eating this with milk and like just kind of sitting here and enjoying my simple meal.
yeah,
It's exactly what you expected, and like it's exactly what you got.
it exists.
But
Not much more to be said.
I just almost feel like Party Thor is almost offensive to people that really like Thor. It's like the exact opposite of everything you like about Thor, you know? You give us Thor Ragnarok, and then like it's like they can show a fun side of Thor and Thor Ragnarok, and like even Endgame is like a fun side of him, and then they just show a side in like What If that's just like so unbearable. It's just such an unbearable dude.
I'd say it's pretty close to the way he was in Thor 1, which makes sense considering when the episode takes place. But yeah, still, it just wasn't the best episode. Had some
Even
funny
Thor 1
moments.
though, he was a little endearing though, because the fact that it wasn't live action, that just him doing weird stuff was like funnier. But since he's an animation, he could do crazy powers and stuff. It just makes him seem like a sociopath.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, yeah, he broke a coffee table in the first one, but like, and like, what if he's just like breaking mountains and stuff, and like fighting a woman across the entire planet, causing destruction over like her not liking his party? It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. I did love though that as long as they don't live together under Odin, Loki and Thor are just best friends. I do love that. I do love that idea though. That made me chuckle.
Yeah, I mean that's just in character. Loki, even in mythology, is a treasonous snake.
Exactly. And whenever you look at the way Odin treats him, you can't exactly blame the man.
Yeah, Odin is just the worst.
He
Odin's
is.
always just been the worst, and like even mythology and like God of War and everything, he's just the worst. He's not a good guy. He's just a dude that like is so paranoid and so power hungry and so terrified of dying that he just does all of the worst decisions and causes his own death.
100%.
And he's like, "Well, I gotta do more things to stop my fate." But I'm like, "My brother in Christ, you're causing your death. You're the one that locked the wolf up. You're the one that uh you're the one that put like the like sun goddess in the sky and made her want to kill you. You're the one that, like is pretty much doing all of this. Like you can not do this."
One often meets their fate on the road they choose to avoid it.
Yeah, or he can just hand himself over and not have the entire world go down with him.
That's true. He wouldn't do that though.
But that he just created the most spiteful beings in existence. He's like, nah, I'm not even just gonna eat the like Odin. I'm just gonna eat the entire planet and universe.
You've pissed me off so much that I'm taking everyone with me.
That's why it's like, I don't. It's I don't know. It's just it's so hard. It's so hard to like. It's so hard to take that like party authority seriously. I couldn't like it.
That's fair. Like I can totally understand that. It's very valid.
Now, just give us a DC multiverse of madness.
That's
Give
what
us
we're getting. Kind of.
the Batman games look good though. The Suicide Squad game looks really good.
I'm excited for it. I haven't. I very purposely have stayed away from watching anything of it just because I love going in blind to these things. So I am excited to see what the games turn out as. The actual movies, I'm very still iffy on. On the bright side, though, at least some of them should be fun.
I just like how the Suicide Squad one essentially jumps the shark in a good way, where it's just like we don't get to see. It's like sucks that we don't get to see more of beforehand of the rest of Justice League and stuff, but it just goes straight up to the worst possible apocalypse scenario. Like the worst possible thing that could happen happened already, and I
Yeah.
think I like that. I'm in love of apocalyptic scenarios and stuff. Like that's why I like transit and zombies. I love apocalypse stuff, and like seeing like pretty much like an apocalypse going on like Earth that's pretty much already lost, like practically lost. It's such a fun idea of like them having to take down like it's literally a David versus Goliath story.
Yeah, I do love it. It also, on top of that, how terrifying they've made the superheroes. Because it's true, these superpowered beings, if you're on the opposing side of them, they're fucking terrifying to go against, especially the Flash.
Superman can literally like erase your bloodline before you even finish winking at him. Like there's there's no contest with the DC ones. The DC ones are too powerful. They're too powerful for their own good. Superman himself is too powerful for the entire universe's good.
Yeah. That's why that is gonna be the one bad thing about this game. Even just in the footage they've already shown alone, there is legit no reason that the Suicide Squad should be alive or actually win these fights. They should 100% be dead and just die. But plot reason.
Well, at least in like I'll give it this though. For them being as strong as they are, they have the easiest weaknesses out of any villain. Like, it's not hard to kill Superman, only because the fact that, yeah, while he is that strong, almost everyone has kryptonite. And like the Flash, he's died on numerous different occasions. Like the strongest versions of him have died on numerous different occasions from Mr. Freeze just putting ice in the ground. Like our Green Lantern just losing to the color yellow.
And would
Like,
a number two
yeah,
pencil kicks his ass.
yeah. So it's like I'm not surprised they end up winning because it's not like they're completely invincible. They get the pretty much the easiest ways of killing them, except like Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman's clearly just the really strong one that because she's a demigod. She's literally just a god.
Yeah.
And like she's still killable though, but like she's just stronger. But the other one's like, yeah, like Batman's just some dude, but he's not even like probably in play for this, but like Flash, you can kill him by him just being too cocky. You can kill Superman by just throwing a bunch of kryptonite on him and doing the whip and nene while he's just decaying. Like a lot of DC superheroes for being as strong as they are go down like a joke.
That is fair and true, yeah. They have some, which is funny. They knew they made such strong and overpowered people that they had to give them the easiest fucking things to lose to.
Also, let's be honest with the Flash here. His Speed Force is only as good and consistent as the plot is. Like
Yeah.
the Speed Force only works like 20-30% of the time. And it's the rest of the time it's like, oh, I'm just like kind of running quicker or like at mid speed as Superman. But at other times he's literally running across the universe and like resetting the timeline from running.
Yeah, that's true.
Flash pretty much redundantizes like everything. Flash's existence makes everything redundant if you just put Flashpoint Flash in everything.
It really does. That's why I truly enjoyed and loved Justice League Dark Apocalypse War. But just knowing that Flash was still alive and can reset everything at the end just left a bad taste in my mouth because it was like everything they went through, all these fights. If they had just lost, that could have been fine. But instead, just reset. It's like, this is
The
the
real reason they
boring
did it.
option.
Everyone knows the real reason why they did that at the end of Apocalypse War is because they wanted to hire different animation teams. They wanted the excuse. Because they did that for they did that for the one before it. They had a different animation team, and whenever they reset the universe again, they hired another animation team. And then now there's a different animated series in like from a different animation team.
I was about to say both yes and no because that universe ended because the New 52, the series they were based on, also ended. So they were like, well, we gotta fucking restart now. So it
Yeah,
was more
well,
of
they're
that
just
as
it's just
well.
it's their way of making a new canon essentially.
Yeah, they could have just restarted. Like they didn't. They could have just restarted like just new storylines and all that. They didn't have to go for the reset route. You know what I mean, though?
I kind of like it though because at least it doesn't make it feel like that other series didn't matter. Because like that means events still led up to this. It wasn't just some random thing that's never going to be able to connect to other things. It led up to this. Like this whole like crazy shit is the entire reason for this universe existing. That's
That's
what I like
true.
about COD Zombies Cold War so much that like they only exist because of like several people's fuck ups, and I think that's a cool idea of like it's practically like a sins of the father scenario where like you could see them repeat their same past mistakes, and even what's his name, the blonde guy says it like we might do the same fuck up, but like at least I got another shot.
Yeah,
At
that's
least to me
true.
that's cool.
That's true. It does make it a little better. You make a point.
Constantine, that's his, Constantine.
Oh, I fucking love John Constantine. I'm
He's
s-
pretty cool. His show was really cool, and they canceled it.
I'm still so sad. They screwed Constantine. That's not even the show's fault. That's because DC fucked it up so terribly.
Yeah, even as just like a normal like low end ghost hunter, the show wasn't that bad.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah,
The reason they killed it is because they put it on a service that you had to pay for. They put it on a Tuesday, I think. Not only on like a terrible day, but it also aired at the same time as like more popular shows. So they literally killed it like from day one, just because they made terrible decisions with it.
they connected it with Lucifer too, which is cool. I mean, Lucifer's a proof of concept that you can make it work, and like they were pretty much making it work with Constantine until they did all those stupid decisions and canceled it.
Yeah, I'm
They could
still
they could
sad.
have made it work
That
if they
man
gave it
was the
Lucifer
constant.
treatment.
Yes,
He
agreed.
was. I think doesn't he voice Constantine in the animated movies?
He does now. Everyone loved him so much that they went,
Yeah.
"Hey, we're sorry what happened to you. Would you like to continue to voice him in every animated project?" And he went, "Fuck yeah."
He just he just gives Constantine's vibe like perfectly. I like most of the time it never happens that you see a perfect casting like that. But it was literally a perfect casting. It's like how I think Robert Downey Jr. was the perfect Iron Man for me, at least.
Yes, I agree.
Spider-Man's a weird iffy case, but like I just think like there's some rare cases where it works out, and like they they nailed Constantine. I don't think you could have gotten a better Constantine.
I agree. Which is why I'm scared whatever happens next. That man was just the perfect one.
I don't know, maybe they'll reboot it someday when they realize that Constantine's a popular character. It's just they just did it wrong. I don't know. I don't know. They there's a proof of concept that DC shows can work better now if you give them like a good director. That's why Peacemaker has been really good
I still
because
haven't
you
finished
got
it.
people have said it's like amazing, and I've seen clips of it, and it looks really good. And I think they confirmed another season of it.
They
I
have,
don't
yeah.
remember exactly. And even we're getting to the point now that all the animated stuff is also putting in Peacemaker because Peacemaker does eventually join the Justice League and like comics and stuff. So like he's now being considered a mainline character, and I they nailed Peacemaker too. John Cena is a perfect Peacemaker, and like they got a good director for it. Like you can make it work. Just don't hire like the same like dudes that make it terrible.
Yeah. John Cena surprised the living hell out of me with his performance as Peacemaker, both in the Suicide Squad and in Peacemaker. Like I did not expect him to be as great as he was.
That man's a grade A actor when he actually really tries, and it's really crazy. Like whenever you see him actually genuinely acting, he's really good. I think he's actually starring in a video game right now. I forgot what game it was, but he's actually voicing a game right now. And apparently, it's really good. Um,
John Cena.
voice act- I know he did do like Ferdinand and stuff, but
He did, yeah. He's done some stuff, which I do respect him as a person. It's good to know that he's gotten this a lot better as of lately.
Trainwreck. I forgot about Trainwreck. WWE.
Mhm.
Doolittle.
He didn't have much
So
to do in Bumblebee, but he still did good in Bumblebee as well. Oh yeah, he's the Hulk in the Marvel's Avengers Academy.
that's really cool. He plays himself in a lot of things. Oh, how can I forget how him being in the Friend movies?
I was about to say that's Fred's dad. It,
It's weird how he can be such a supportive father while also beating the shit out of his son.
right. He voiced himself in some video games. Well, it's just WWE stuff.
I know he's good. Like he's really good. It's funny seeing him be that good because everyone just kind of thinks he's a meathead because of like
Hmm.
who he is. But no, he's great.
He's
I
honestly
would
a
say
really
he's
good. He's like a really smart person, genuinely.
from like WWE stardom people to come out of that to like get into acting. I would almost say I like him more than The Rock. Maybe it's because we've been so oversaturated on The Rock.
Hmm.
But I think The Rock's cool either way.
I'll say that in terms of like serious acting, I think John Cena has proven himself to be the better actor.
Yeah, like he's really good at doing multiple things. He can be a really sad character. He can be a jokey character. He can be everything. I feel like when you see Dwayne Johnson, he's like the same guy in every
Hmm.
movie.
Somehow, even in the trailers for Wonder Dog, Dwayne Johnson as a dog is still just Dwayne Johnson.
Oh yeah,
He's
he's a,
Crypto.
yeah, that's what it was.
And somehow, even in that movie as Crypto, the Wonder Dog, he's still just The Rock.
And isn't Kevin Hart Batman's dog apparently, or like the Bat Dog?
Yeah, he's gonna become Bat Dog.
That's so great.
Everyone's hoping that Bat Cow makes an appearance, and I hope so too.
Bat Cow would wipe the floor of all the other big bets. That's not even an argument.
Oh yeah, no, Bat Cow is the best.
I like
I'm
that
so
one of the moments that Batman actually felt genuine sympathy for anyone was Batcow.
funny.
He really liked Batcow.
Batman is a character full of sympathy and hope, though. Like I know, mainline movies and shit have like kind of ruined that perception of him, but he's genuinely a hopeful and very passionate, like compassionate person. It's
Yeah, but
sad that it's put
he
away.
doesn't show raw emotion a lot, except for like character deaths or something like really crazy.
He does
But
to the
he always
Robins.
yeah he does show a lot of care for like he showed as much care for the Robins as he did Batcow.
I mean, could you?
He
How could he not? It's Bat Cow.
yeah Batcow is Batcow.
Exactly. Like that's not saying anything worse about Batman or the Robins. That's just saying a lot of praise to Bat Cow. I'm excited and I'm both excited and cautious to see where both Marvel and DC go from here, honestly. They both have a lot of potential, but they also have a lot of like potential to do bad things. Like I am so pissed off and don't know if I actually want to watch Miss Marvel, the newest one coming out. Because they just completely ruined her powers and changed her character for certain aspects.
When are they gonna make Batcow come back and he just solos like all of the Justice League? He's actually the final boss of the Suicide Squad game.
Exactly. See, you answered your own question.
It's like I'm just like baffled. I'm looking for John Cena's list of stuff.
What's this podcast about? Honestly, Co, it's about any and everything. We don't really have anything planned here today. This is just so I can do a podcast for my for my school assignment. So if you have something you don't want us to talk about, friggin' feel free to type away. There's not a topic for school. Surprisingly, not. No, not really. He didn't really. He just said doing a podcast. He never specified. Dang, I know, right? It's pretty cool though. I mean, it means we can do whatever the hell we want.
We're talking about how we're gonna watch Morbius 6 times in a row.
Morbius sweep, one for one.
Morbius sweep cross country, baby.
We're gonna talk about we're gonna watch Morbius one time for every letter in the title.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
that'd be seven actually. That's seven.
That's not enough.
That's not. You're right. Well, my friend and I have been talking about reincarnation and Buddhism tonight. I think religion and politics are the only two things we've been religion and politics are the only two things we are not talking about. Is that I don't know if I can.
Let's not get into religion and politics.
That's the one thing we haven't.
We were kind of bordering the line with the Thanos speak.
Exactly. That was like the closest we got. Okay, can you repeat all that because I cannot hear anything? Basically, we're gonna watch Morbius 7 times in a row because Morbius sweep.
Oh, and we're gonna
Call
and
pregame.
that was just gonna be executed live on cam.
Oh yeah, that's the true finale. What is Morbius? You don't know about Morbius, the number one movie of all time, the
The first we'd
greatest,
ever sell 1 more billion tickets.
the number one performing superhero movie ever, the best one permanently. How could you not? How could you not know his famous line? It's Morbian time.
It's morbing time.
Uh,
like doing a podcast again, Bowser, it always makes you think, at least like for us, whenever we've done podcasts like together, just as the two of us, we have like that radio host type of vibe. I always feel like sometimes.
you're not fucking wrong. I
We have like
completely
a
agree.
radio host chemistry.
We really do. You know what? Fuck it. I don't. Next, even if it's not on the official podcast, me and you are doing that fucking Call of Duty Zombies map ranking again. Even if I don't include all the maps, I don't care. We're doing it again.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I,
We are two dudes in the garage already. Like we're sitting in a garage. I'm like right next to Bowser. I'm shoving my fingers up his nose as we speak. It's like jamming almost to his brain.
yeah,
That's how close we are.
they smell like beans.
Yeah, I had a lot of burritos, and then I also shoved in within like, bean paste to
Hmm.
put on top of the burritos. You gotta enhance the flavor.
And it's fine because we need that bean smell to really like support the newest bean coming into the scene. The only threat to Morbius El Muerto.
Yeah, El Muertos. Oh my god,
We don't
we gotta watch out.
we don't do that during stream code. That's for after hours. That is the
Yeah,
one thing that
that's for the OnlyFans one.
honestly, that is the one thing that will not be quoted in this stream. Also, in case you're actually wondering, Morbius was the latest super air quotes superhero movie made by Sony, and it was absolutely ass. Like it was just terrible. All jokes aside, and it's just been memed to death because of like a variety of reasons. For one, how bad it looked, how bad it is, and then also because the lead actor is just a grade A douchebag. Did you know that he fucking held up filming and like made it 10 times worse because he wanted to air quotes method act being a cripple, and so he would always take ages going to the bathroom and getting back, and eventually he was taking like hour-long breaks because he was method acting apparently.
Yeah, I know he's just always been like a psychopath,
Yeah.
like about shit.
You know the
But
worst
I
thing
love that he
though?
actually had a cult.
Yeah, I hate that he has a cult. It's full of underage girls. It's ridiculous. Though I think the worst part though is that he was method acting being crippled. The man's crippled for maybe like 10 to 15 minutes of the overall movie. For most of it, he's fucking buff vampire man. So why the hell did he have to keep acting as a cripple once he was no longer cripple? He's an
I wish I
ass.
can. I wish I can just not be crippled anymore from, from like just like on the spot like that.
I know, right? I wish I was no longer crippled after watching more. Because I feel like my IQ took a hit after watching that
What?
movie.
Well, after I watched Morbius 10 times in a row, my vision came back. My wife came back to me. My kids love me now. My job promoted me. I'm a CEO, a big dick billionaire, and I own Amazon. That's right. I'm gonna burn the Amazon forest. That's how much money I'm making.
Holy shit. But the real question is, are you gonna buy Twitter from Elon Musk now with all that money that you have?
Now I'm gonna buy MySpace back.
Oh my god, the return. The
I'm bringing
plot
back
twist.
MySpace.
The plot twist no one expected.
Everyone will have like when everyone's accounts are restored, they're all gonna have the same Justin Bieber backgrounds.
Oh damn.
Mine was dope. I had a dark ride. I had a no, it was an Arceus background.
I never actually used MySpace. By the time I started using social media, MySpace was already gone.
You know, the only reason I used it was to pimp out my page.
Really?
Yeah, because you can decorate your page a fuck ton. You can make it look really cool.
Huh, that's fair.
The only one I remember is a Kick, but Kick is now like a weird sexual like pedophile ring, sort of.
Uh yeah, we'll stay away
It's
from
Kick,
there.
Kick has become something weird. Like it's really strange what's going on there. There's plenty of videos talking about it already, but
May I
like, well,
Oh no, you keep going. Sorry, I was reading those messages.
well, well, we talked about a genocide for the last like hour. Let's talk about something different. Let's talk about some gaming.
I was about to say, yeah. So, Ko, yes, you may offer a K drama recommendation. Drop that, and while you do, I gotta ask Daniel. I have been out of the gaming sphere for a decent amount of time. The latest things that I have right now are the Stanley Parable Ultimate Edition and Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga, which I still have to which I want to play more and live stream more. But once school comes down, I'll be doing that. Same thing with Alan Wake Remastered. Outside of that, do you have like what's going on in gaming? Do you have like any interesting news or games you're looking forward to, or games that you're playing right now that you love?
I mean, like, you already know like a lot of the games I love already. Like, I love Guilty Gear. I love Apex Legends. I've been trying to get more into Valorant. It's kind of a thing. I've been playing Smite on the side still because I love me Smite.
Mm-hmm.
I play a lot of things, and I think that's just I'm a person that needs to have like a million different things to try out because I'll always have like a different idea for something, and my brain will always bounce around. But there's a lot of stuff going on. I mean, E3 got canceled though, so we're not gonna see like a lot of stuff
That's
come
true.
out announcement wise. Probably some trailers, but like G4 came back. That show's fine. That TV channel's finally back. Um, it's kind of older news though, but I know gaming news though we're kind of in a little bit of dead zone other than like stuff getting announced, like games or content coming out.
Yeah.
That's kind of just what's going on at the moment. I don't know. I'm just here enjoying Guilty Gear Strive and Apex Legends and like Binding of Isaac, and I'm just vibing out, man. I'm just freaking schmoving and enjoying myself. I'm a man that likes to hyperfixate in a couple of games at least. I like my variety, but like I'll pick like those two or three out of like a million and then like hyperfixate on those.
That's good. I need to. There are games that I want to play, but they're the ones that I'm streaming. But I don't always feel like streaming as of lately because I don't want to just stream for 30 minutes, and that's typically how long I want to play for. So I made some bad calls with the games I have decided to live stream. They are the ones that I want to play, but I don't want to live stream. We need to play more Valorant though, because I do love Valorant genuinely. I've been having a blast when I play it. I just don't. I'm not always on when you all are on, so I typically am playing alone. I do want to play with you all more. Same thing with Smite.
If you like see me like not in a VC, but I'm on Discord, just send me a DM.
Oh, all right. Fine.
I gotta be in a particular yeah, I gotta be in a particular mood to play Valorant, but just literally ask me. I just think Valorant, after even still playing it all this time, it is probably my least favorite shooter I've ever played. Like flat out.
Really?
Flat out, I think it's the worst shooter I've ever played still. But like
Why?
it's okay. I just don't I really do not like the hyper tactical like here's the thing. Rainbow is miles ahead of better for me only because you can do like verticality stuff and buildings and stuff and you can
Hmm.
do strategy, with the abilities. And the only that pulls Valorant a little bit more for me is because of the abilities. But I really just don't like the walking really slow, sitting around and then like shooting and then getting a one tap. And then if someone else is better than you or hacking, you just don't even get to play for like 30 minutes or to an hour. N- Nothing's fun to me about that. Even when I do really good and I get like top frags, I win, I do really well. I have no enjoyment. Nothing. It's just emptiness. And even the game the game lacks like any kind of style whenever you win or you do something accomplishing. It just feels like the same thing and it feels super empty for me. I just don't know what it is. It's just I like it a bit. I've been trying to play it more, and playing with some people is pretty fun. I think I can only play that game with people,
Hmm.
but I really only kind of enjoy it when I'm on team deathmatch or like or just talking to people enough. But the base game, it is one of the most boring like shooters I have ever played.
Have you have you tried CS:GO? Like, do you feel the same way about that? Since this is very much just CS:GO, but with special role abilities.
Yes, but I don't think CS:GO is comparable in a shooting aspect. I think it's better.
Really?
In a shooting aspect, I think it's better because you could take a lot more shots and there's more reaction time. In a in a like in a art style sense, in a directional sense, Valorant's way better.
Hmm.
I like the abilities. I like the cool like hyper like mix of futuristic and modern stuff. That's cool to me because I really do not like modern stuff.
Yeah, I agree. The
But
fantasy aspect.
what my problem with Valorant is just how it plays. I'm too much of a Titanfall Call of Duty arena shooter where I like to play in a reactionary combat type of style.
Hmm.
I like dealing with the panic. I like dealing with crazy stuff that I can react to and fight back to and have it be like a battle uphill kind of situation. That's my fun. I love surviving through crazy environment and crazy like events just to come out of it barely scathing. That's my fun. Not just walking around getting headshot across the map, having like half your teammates go silent or get mad. That's just not my thing.
That's fair. The rage in this game is definitely one of the worst I've ever experienced.
Hearing any kind of trash talking just in any game just kind of gets me out of it. I don't I just I'm it's too negative, man. That community is too negative.
Yeah, I get you. We play MOBAs, and hell, I still find more negativity in the short time I played Valorant than most other games I've played.
Well, even though we play MOBAs though, like Smite's so goofy that you can just make it so goofy that you can ignore everything else. Like
Yeah,
we've done really stupid shit that's like ignored the toxicity. And even if people are being toxic, we just mute them and then we go about our day. But then the game's just so goofy. You can still be goofy. But I feel like in Valorant, there's literally no room for it. There's no room for like fun or expression. It's just pure competitive gameplay. And like, people like that, I respect that. They do them pop off queens. It's just not my thing. I like Apex Legends. I like moving around. I like doing crazy like war scenario types of combat. That is so fun to me. I've been playing ranked. I love that. I love going in crazy like really tense lower like small fields and fighting like on scraps, like trying to beat the other people. That's fun to me.
That's fair.
And new Apex season's coming out tomorrow too, so
Nice. I also didn't want to just completely divert from gaming, but the 25-21 is sounds interesting that Ko was talking about.
yeah, that actually sounds like an interesting show that she's mentioning.
It's airing on Netflix. She loves it. 2 episodes a day. It's the number one aired cable show in South Korea. That's interesting. That's like a very popular place, isn't it? So if it's number one, that means a lot of people were tuning.
Yeah, it's a very dense country.
So it's a. She said she's lurking now, but I'm hoping she's still like somewhere around nearby. Does that mean? So is it literally just an entire show dedicated to like the art of fencing? Like no exaggeratedness. It's just straight up a fencing show. Go. That's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. Also, she's always for playing Valorant to message her, so I can message both of you if I'm ever wanting to play. That's good.
Yeah.
I do understand the not fun aspects of Valorant too. If it makes sense, it's a very like hit or miss game. I agree with you though that I tend to have more fun on the things that are not the actual like main game.
I can have more fun in a very competitive game if it gives you the room to do it. But Valorant doesn't really give you the room to do it. It's just pure competitiveness. Even in Apex Legends, on the highest ranked lobbies, you can do funny little emotes and do like kooky stuff. But like in Apex, it's just all serious. It's all serious. And like, yeah, there's funny, like quirky quips sometimes, but like there's no like funny player interactions and like sometimes them teabagging at each other and making a friendly, and that's just like every game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's nothing unique about that. And considering Riot Games has a horrible history of mistreating their devs and stuff, I also feel a very bad distaste for them because of that. That's why I didn't really want to play League as much either, because of the way they treat female devs and how like they've been getting away with transphobia and sexually harassing their workers for like a very long time. And I feel like because these games are so popular, I feel like now people are starting to just ignore it, because other companies became way huger, like Blizzard, Activision.
Oh
So
shit,
like
Riot was doing that too. I did not know that actually.
they've had plenty of issues. They've had a lot of issues, and people don't really care as much. And like I can't support a game company that does this kind of stuff. And I don't really even support EA. I just play like the game, but I'm never gonna support EA. I'm not gonna support 2K. These are just really scummy companies, and like I'll play it, but it's not like me individually playing it. It's gonna single-handedly fund the business. So
Yeah,
that's why like I gave Valorant a shot. It's just not for me, man.
I get it.
But I'll still play it with friends, but it's just hard to find enjoyment in that game, like at all. I don't feel any kind of enjoyment in that game. I'll just try to talk to friends, but then friends end up getting into the game, and then I'm just like, well, I feel like an oddball. I just feel like out of it. I'm just like that one guy that's trying to say stupid stuff, and like it's going nowhere because like everyone's trying to focus on the game and be quiet and stuff. So I'm like, oh, I guess I'll just be quiet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get that. It's a lot harder to do dumb shit in this one than other games.
Yeah, that's not really like a bad thing. It's just not a good thing for me.
Yeah,
People like it, they can pop off. They can do good.
exactly. It's everybody has their own personal opinions and things they enjoy. Doesn't always every not everyone has to be into the same stuff, which is fair.
Yeah. Now play some Smite with me though, and we'll do some funny moments.
Oh yeah, just some of the dumbest shit around while still having a blast.
Smite's so goofy. It's like it's the TF2 of MOBAs. You can do the stupidest stuff in that game. I don't think I've laughed as much in games as much as Smite. I'll just see like a character ragdoll from across the map and I'll lose my shit at that game.
I do love Smite. It is one of the dumbest things you've ever played, and I love it for that fact.
It's so good. Like, hey, you gotta play more Guilty Gear with me, Bowser.
I do.
We'll make you a crazy May player.
I am the that's Dolphin Girl, right?
Yeah, Dolphin Girl.
I'm
I'll teach
very.
you.
I don't know if
I'll
it's.
teach you the few simple ones.
I don't know if it's Guilty Gear or if it's me just like having to getting used to a keyboard and mouse. I've been very so far when it comes to Guilty Gear.
It's just stubborn ass won't plug in a controller. It's not meant to be played with the keyboard. It's like the worst way of playing it.
Is it really? Like, is it that
Yeah,
bad?
yeah. It's like the controller is way better. You can even play on a fighting game stick and it's way better. Bro, everyone plays on a controller or a fighting stick. Like, do not play on the keyboard. It's terrible on the keyboard. Some people do well. Some people do really well and they pop off, and that's good for them. But for a user experience trying to get into a fighting game, it is literally one of the worst ways of getting into a fighting game.
Yeah, I am definitely agreeing with that right now. It has not been a good dive in that regard.
Dude, buy a cord, just buy a cord, and then like they're like a couple bucks, and just plug into your computer and use your Xbox controller. It's so much better, astronomically better.
I think I'm about to, honestly. I have like some other stuff I'll probably try out with it too.
The controls will be a lot more easier. And have you played fighters?
We play fighters together.
Yeah, it controls very similarly to fighters whenever you get it on controller.
That's what I thought it would.
Yeah, a lot of like motion inputs. So
Interesting.
just to like what?
Oh, sorry, I was gonna say something else. I got distracted for a second. I was gonna talk about something else.
I was gonna say a lot of inputs are harder on piece like keyboard just because of how it is.
I agree. Trying to do those half circles was a pain in my ass.
Yeah, even like Liam like talks about how much he struggles with it. It's not fun on keyboard. Like if you want to do like clean movement. I enjoy my Xbox controller. I enjoy the vibe. Plus, if you get a controller, I can show you a lot more stuff.
Yeah, it will be better and easier there.
So now that we're around almost an hour and 30 mark, how long did you think you wanted your podcast to be going for?
Honestly, I think this is a good place to call it there. Literally the only thing I was gonna mention is just that I have finally bought Red Dead Redemption 2 on PC. So I'm gonna play that more in between just for the online. I did really enjoy
Nice.
it.
I feel like the online was just like too boring for me, only because the way they do it, it's a little scummy.
Yeah, but I happened to find like I guess a community that host like their own private servers. Also, like they don't really do griefing and all that. I figured I'll try
Oh,
it
so
out,
they're
see
for
how that
chill.
is. Yeah, so like a pretty chill one.
That sounds fun at the very least.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that'll help make it better. Also, just not having to deal with trolls. That was always my main problem. Is I'd enjoy doing my own thing, and then like the trolls and assholes, kind of like with GTA Online, just made it more annoying than anything else. So hopefully this like lets me be able to just enjoy the game without dealing with all that BS.
Hmm. Yeah, that sounds fun. I want to try it again at some point, like doing Red Dead, but it's cool that there's even this community still going on PC. That's cool.
Oh yeah, I love it because always I will think it's like a good design and just the way it was done. The gameplay isn't always like the best thing for me, even on like Xbox. I just love the way like they built it, some of the structures for things, the way everything looks. Like it is a beautifully made game, even if all the time I don't enjoy the game aspect.
My brain just like darted out for a second. I'm sorry.
You're good.
I mean, did you still pay for a full 60 for it?
No, they're having a big sale, so I paid a lot less.
Oh, that's good. I might consider it. I
This
know there's a lot of games on sale right now.
you can check. Oh damn it. You can check Steam right now because I believe the normal edition is 20 and the like ultra deluxe edition is like 40.
Yeah, it's 29.99.
Yeah, I bought the ultra version because it's normally 100 and I can get that for 40. I was like, that's a fucking 60% off deal right there. I'm taking that.
Or I can get Bloons Tower Defense 6.
I'm looks like I'm buying Bloons. Nah, I already have it on my phone. I don't need it on as well.
It is $2 though.
It's only $2.
Yeah.
It looks like I'm getting Bloons 6. Yeah, there it is right there. Midweek madness. Two ninety
Oh, that
nine.
deal.
No, that's $3. You fucking lied to me.
Yeah, but it's like that's the convenience tax for playing on a like thing that's way more convenient. If you
That's
play on
fair.
your phone's gonna heat up.
Yeah, that's fair. Especially when the fucking B-loons come, the Moabs.
I've never played the newer versions and even played the online, so I have no idea what the online's like.
They
I've heard
worked
it's
pretty
funny
well as
though.
far as I remember.
I've heard they're funny. I'll have to try it at some point.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up getting Among Us.
Oh shit, we can play Among Us. I remember. Wait, why'd you get it? I remember you didn't want to before because you didn't like the aspect of lying to your
I
friends.
accidentally unplugged my microphone.
All I asked was, why'd you get Among Us? I remember before you didn't want to because you didn't like the aspect of lying to your friends.
And I still really don't, but like I've kind of found my own way of circumventing that.
How's that?
That's something you'd have to see.
Okay. Well.
That's I still don't like the lying aspect. It still makes me really uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
But I mostly did it because streamer friends invited me to join them with it. So I did that mostly to hang out with them on that. And
Nice.
I think it's fun when it's like with a lot of people you don't really know, and it's just random people that you scream at each other.
That's fair.
Lying to friends just kind of makes me really uncomfortable though.
Yeah, I get that. It is a very strange thing.
But it was only like $3, so how can it not?
Yeah, no, I get it. It's also it is a really well made game. And the developers are still trying to support it even now, so it deserves respect. With that though, I think this is a good time. I think this is a good place to end it. Although maybe I should do like some actual talking points about like school related things for the end of this podcast.
It's up to you. I mean, wasn't the
Nah.
wasn't a requirement that you said to make a podcast?
Listen, let me check. Let me check that. I feel like I'm good and I've like met the requirement. Orale, why? Go, gotta log college thing. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, no, it just to create a podcast. Doesn't say anything else. So yeah, in that case, I'm good to end it here. We went over quite a bit of stuff, more than I actually thought we would in an hour and a half, honestly. That has led me to conclude though that we are going to get together, recreate the stream that we lost. Not even for like the original, we can just do it here. I don't care. But we are going to remake and redo the Call of Duty zombie map countdown.
We will refilm and reshoot all of Morbius.
Yes, just me and you. We will play all the
We will call
parts.
him Gorbius.
Gorby, and he will be gorgeous.
He'll be Gorbius.
He'll be Gorbius. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we end on that fucking high note. Thank you for watching. My professor, if you will actually watch this all the way through, what is wrong with you? Why did you do that? But also, thank you. Your class has been a blast to be a part of, and I've loved every second of it. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Mr. Daniel, would you like to say goodbye, link any stuff?
Uh, meow.
Meow, indeed.
That's all I have to say.
Remember that. Thank you, everyone, for watching. I'm